held the first phase of its national election with just over half of eligible voters casting ballots remarkably lower than previous elections. The vote is the first since the 2021 coup and takes place during a civil war, with reports expecting the military-aligned party to retain power. International bodies and human rights groups have criticized the election as not free or fair. Citing the ban on anti-junta parties and restrictions on criticism, the junta has reported that more than 6 million people have voted across 102 townships, while future rounds are scheduled for January 11th and then January 25th. Aung San Suu Kyi, who remains detained, and her party has been dissolved, with the military continuing to control the electoral process. Now for this discussion, we welcome Ms. Shruti Dasgupta. She's an international affairs expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Ms. Dasgupta, for joining us once again. Good to see you. Now, looking at Myanmar's elections, as you know, it's still holding on peacefully. What more can you tell us about this?
Well, the piece is only superficial, Soma. Thank you so much for inviting me. But what I do understand is that the sham is of the multipolarity of the elections. The NLD has been dissolved, as you have noted. Anti-junta parties have been disbanded. People have been there. Any kind of anti-election propaganda has been allows them to jail people, basically. There have been coercion into voting also. Their UN rights officers have noted pleas by citizens where they have been said that their houses will be bombed if they don't go out and vote. So the coercion is obvious. Even in the first phase, the pro-military group USDP, I believe they are called, and they are already claiming victory, and they are a pro-military group, and this is just basically taking away the sham of the military regime in Myanmar and giving the world a face to say that yes, things are going fine. The Chinese observers are saying that yes, it's a good progress from military regime to a democratic regime. The Indian observers are not there in official capacity. They're only there available on private invitation basis only, and they've decided not to comment on it as of now. So people are being pushed to vote, probably for all we know pushed to vote in a certain direction. Anti-junta material, anti-election material is a jailable offense, and so we can't say that these elections are free and fair, since not all parties or all viewpoints are incorporated in it.
Right, and although this very limited and also full of controversies and this not democratic election holds on, and it is happening, so how will the results affect the legitimacy of Myanmar's post-coup elections and the prospects for any democratization?
Well, it's going to continue more of the same. Only thing is that the person who will be heading the government will not be the one standing in uniform. That is the only difference that's going to be. The policies are going to be directed by the military, because the party that is slated to win as almost a fixed election is going to be one that is going to follow the diktats sent out by the military dictator of the junta regime. So we are not in a position to say that there's going to be any changes in Myanmar except superficially on paper. The face might change, but the voice and the words are going to be the same as they have been since 2021's coup.
Right. And in building on your first answer for my first question, you touched on China. So why is China commenting over here that it is peaceful and the elections are
free and fair?
Yes.
I do believe China is looking for to put out the message that the junta regime is holding free and fair elections and Myanmar situation is normalized, because it helps them keep control of the Chin regions, where I believe, or at least most of the international analyst community believes, is under unofficial Chinese rule. And that is where most of their rare earth element farming is happening from, and that is a very environmentally destructive process, and that can only be done when there is not a people representative army at the helm of things. So they want the junta regime because that's the regime that kind of bows to them. So they want the junta regime to be legalized by the form of this USDP front of the junta regime in the elections. And this is how they are going to accomplish presenting to the world that, look, it is no longer dictator controlled and everything that is happening by the will of the people. So they are presenting it as a border security premise, but the internal dynamics of it is just leeching away the resources of the region while ensuring that an armed military group stays in control of the nation.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Ms. Das Gupta for joining us today and sharing that insight. Thank you very much. Now we